Hello fellow outsiders. Just walking in the bush really quietly today to see what I can see. I don't think you guys can hear it, but I can hear a turkey calling deeper into the bush that way. So I'm just being really quiet to see if I can get in without being detected, and this is turkey season right now, so I'm probably going to see a few turkeys, and if I'm lucky I might even see some coyotes trying to hunt them, so that'd be a real treat. But now is the time of year when the yellow birch sap is starting to flow, and the yellow birch sap flows right after the maple sap is done flowing. Maple sap flows ideally when the day is about 5 degrees above zero during the day, and then during night -5. But yellow birch trees, the sap flows best when the temperature is around 50 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, and I think that equals to 16 degrees Celsius. But anyways, I'm just gonna check some yellow birch trees here and see how the sap is flowing, and if I can, I would like to collect some yellow birch sap. So here goes nothing. So this is a yellow birch tree, and it looks pretty scraggly. That's how you can tell it's a yellow birch, is because the bark peels and kind of tatters like this. A white birch, the bark is a lot whiter and it peels more in sheets. And with a yellow birch, when the sun hits it just right, there's kind of this golden sheen that comes off of the bark. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, but yeah, it's got a bit of a yellowish, goldish tinge to it. And that's how you know you've got a yellow birch. So I'm just going to take the tip of my knife here, and I'm going to tap it into the tree just a little bit and see if there's any sap flowing. And as you can see, it's flowing pretty good, so I'm going to see if I can start collecting some now. So what I've gotten here is a hardwood branch that I'm going to carve into a bit of a spile that I'm going to use to collect the yellow birch sap into a container. I don't know if you can see it, but I've whittled this stick flat with my knife, and in the very center you can see there's kind of a softer part of the wood here, and so I'm going to make this into a spile that I can use to tap the yellow sap. And so I'm just going to take the tip of my knife and just push out the softer wood from the center, and that'll be a channel for the yellow sap to flow into the bottle that I have set up for it. Okay, so I've got my spile made up here, and I'm just going to make the initial entry into the bark with my knife, and then I'm going to tap the spile into the hole there and let it start dripping. Okay, this tree has a good drip, so this will be a good one to put my spile into. The intrusion that my knife makes into the birch is so minimal that it doesn't injure the tree, not any more than a light scratch would hurt a person. Nowadays, birch sap is being hailed as the new super drink. That's because it's packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, electrolytes, and natural sugars. Birch sap is said to boost the immune system, lower cholesterol, detoxify the body, and it is even thought to have anti-aging properties. The sap also contains the chemical xylitol, a naturally occurring sugar alcohol, which the American Dental Association says helps fight tooth decay. Birch sap is marketed not only as a health drink, but also as a beauty product. In some parts of the world, birch sap is so popular that I've heard it can sell for up to $20 a liter. But nature has it on tap for free. Now this is the second drip that I've set up, so between the two spiles that I have here, I should have something to drink fairly quickly, which I'm looking very much forward to. Yellow birch sap and, well, also sweet birch or black birch has oil of wintergreen right in the sap. So if you chew on the twigs or boil the twigs to make some tea, which I've done before in previous episodes, it'll have a slight hint of wintergreen flavor to it, which is really pleasant. But anyways, now that this second one is ready to go, then I can leave both of them to drip for a while, and I'll return soon. Okay, so I have to be really quiet now because I'm going through a part of the bush where I've run into a pack of coyotes before.
Oh, it's going. No, it's still there.
And I know that they're still here. So if I'm lucky, I can see a couple of them. But chances are that they probably already know that I'm here. Because as quiet as humans can be in the bush, animals have very good hearing, and they can be much quieter, so they could be very close to me, and I wouldn't even know. So, we'll just see what happens. haven't seen any coyotes yet, but I sure have seen signs of them. I've seen their footprints in the mud, and I'm down in a section of the bush that I refer to as the swamp. And I've been told by my grandfather that the coyotes roam around this area too, and now I believe him because this is what I saw. This is what's left of a porcupine, just his quills and fur. You can see his tail right there, what's left of it. And there's one of his quills. So that was definitely a coyote kill. So we'll see what else we can find in the swamp here. After returning home from the bush and reviewing the footage that I took, I realized that my camera had caught a glimpse of something moving between the trees, something that I had missed at the time. Do you see it? Here's the same clip enhanced and slowed down. Turns out, I wasn't alone after all. So here's another stand of yellow birch trees. I don't know how well you can see them, but there they are. And I found something interesting here that thought I'd show you. Here's a yellow birch tree, but it's actually growing on top of another rotting stump that belonged to a different species of tree. And so now this stump is rotting out, but the roots are still dangling high above the ground, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens to this yellow birch tree once the wood underneath it rots out. But I thought that was kind of neat. These yellow birches are just amazing. They love really swampy conditions, and right now I am in a swamp, but it looks as if so many of these yellow birch trees actually grew from the stumps of other decaying trees. And here's an example of a tree that looks like it started growing on a stump, but then the stump wasted away to nothing, and now there's a big hole underneath. So very interesting. It seems like yellow birch trees are kind of God's way of providing shelter to animals in the bush. It's kind of like this natural little burrow. But it's just incredible in here. All the different ways trees work and plants and how everything works together. It's just so beautiful. I'm pretty much out of the swamp now, and I'm back to where I tapped the two yellow birch trees, and so I'm going to see what I collected. It's been about 2 hours now, and yeah, so let's take a look. Okay, so this one's still dripping a little bit, but I've only collected a little bit of sap in there. So I'm just going to take this off the tree now and go on to the next one and see how much I've collected there. So again, I've only had these dripping for 2 hours, and I have almost half a water bottle here. And this tree was dripping a little slower, obviously, so less, but still a little bit. Notice that this one here is a little more cloudy than the one off the tree that was dripping faster, so I don't know if this sap is the sugars are starting to break down already, but I'll try them separately and see if there's a difference in flavor. Something that I forgot to mention earlier was that yellow birch sap flows for only 2 to 3 weeks, so it's much shorter than the maple sap season, because on the maple trees the sap flows for, I think it's around 4 to 6 weeks, so a much faster period. So you have to get the yellow birch trees when the time is right, and I just so happened to get them in the right time. Definitely refreshing. It has a slight yellow tinge to it, but not much, and it's actually quite cold too, which is nice. A lot of people assume that maple sap and yellow birch sap will have a really sweet and sticky kind of flavor to it, but actually both saps they taste a lot like water because they haven't been boiled down yet to where the sugar content is higher. So with yellow birch sap, you get maybe a hint of wintergreen flavor, but not much. And the same thing with maple sap, is you get just a hint of the maple flavor, but it's hard to distinguish. It does taste a lot like water. But the fact of the matter is that this stuff is really, really refreshing. And of course, you can't deny all the health benefits that come with drinking this stuff. So all in all, really refreshing, really healthy. And this, my friend, is the taste of spring.